Hello everybody and welcome to a guide for new players on how to select a realm to play on in World of Warcraft. So today we're going to be giving a guide for new players to select which realm you actually want to play on in World of Warcraft. There's a lot of different realms, there's different types of realms, different populations. It can be confusing for which realm you want to play on as a new player. We're all there, and hopefully this kind of clears up which and gives you some general guidance as to what realm you are going to be playing on and help you choose that. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, to get to this screen, if it doesn't already automatically put you on this screen, on the main face here, what you're going to want to do is go over to this panel on the right where you're going to house your characters here, and you want to hit change realm. If it's already got you on it, it's probably going to put you in a new player one, which aren't very good realms. So now that you're on the screen, let's talk about some tips to tell you what realms and give you some tips on how to choose realms to play on. So first off the bat, the first thing you're going to want to decipher is what type of realm you want to play on. So there's normal and there's role playing. Normal realms are just, as the name suggests, normal realms. There's no special focus on anything like role playing on these realms. It's got everything you want to do in the game, and it's got all the content still. It's where most of the realms are made. It's where most of the people play on, and most of the realms are normal. And is my advice, probably what you're going to want to play on when you're starting out. I suggest choosing a normal realm. Role-playing realms, on the other hand, the thing special about them is they still have all the content and everything. The realms are just specifically focused on role-playing, as it suggests. People on these realms generally dive much deeper into the role-playing aspects of the character and the lore of their character and their faction and and the story of the game. So if that sounds interesting to you, you can play role-playing. But for most players, I'd say normal realm is probably what you want to select. Next thing, another thing you want to look at is make sure you're in the right area. So if you live in the United States, don't try to join a realm in Oceanic, area, the Latin American or Brazil. Choose the tab here that correlates with where you live. For me, it's the United States, so that's why I'm here. Now that you've got those two out of the ways, what you're going to want to do is look at the population of the realm. You don't want to join new player or low or even medium population realms here, and the reason being is that these realms have a lot less players than the high and full population realms seen down here. Why that matters and is pretty impactful is that this is an MMORPG. It's a game that's heavily, played and focused around community, guilds, and playing with other people in general. And if you don't have a lot of other people on your realm, kind of hinders your ability to do that more than you would like. So on low population realm, for example, it's harder to find guilds because there's less of them and there's less players in general. So you are going to have a harder time finding a guild that's right for you just because there's less of them to choose from. Again, another thing with it is that because of the low amount of players, not even guild related, just finding players to quest with and level with and do dungeons with and everything is going to be much harder to do because there are less people playing overall in the realm. So it's going to take a lot longer to find people that are actually willing to quest with you or dungeon with you. It's going to be a pain that you don't really need to experience, honestly. Another thing is the auction house in the game, which is the player, sell and buy area, the economy. Ooh, got disconnected from the server. Logging in. Again, this is, you gotta go to change realm over here. So I was just talking about the auction house. The auction house is affected by the population of the realm. If your realm has a lower population, that means less items overall. So when buying something, if you need to buy something off the auction house, you run the risk of there not being enough or not being there at all, or it being at a bad price because it's only like one thing on the market, so they control the standard of the price, and it's just not as good and fleshed out when you're on a low population realm. Also, when you're selling things, there's less customers and people willing to buy your item, so stuff might not sell, or you might have to really lower the prices to even get someone to buy, or the vice versa, the prices might be jacked up because there's only like one or two things on the auction house, and you have to buy it because you need it for something. So the auction house experience is much worse when you're on a lower population realm here. Also, especially on new player realms, these realms see a lot of people flopping and switching realms because they realize, oh, we're on a dead realm or a low population realm, and I don't want to be on here anymore because it's low pop or new player pop, and this realm is dying or dead, and it's just not a good environment anymore. So more people that have already more people start switching realms that are on the current realm of a low pop or new player, continuing to dwindle that population even more. So there's going to be a lot of turnover if you're on these realms with guilds and players in general. Also, especially on the new player realm, you're going to, of course, encounter the majority of the population is going to be a lot of inexperienced new players, which is fine to quest with, I guess, when you're looking for people in low-level areas to quest with. But once you get to higher end-game content, a lot of them might have left or never even progressed there at all. And there's going to be a lot of people leaving the realm, and there's going to be a lot of new players that you can't really do any end-game or late-game content with or more advanced things with. And it's going to be a pretty bad experience for you. So that's why you want a realm with higher full pop. One complaint that gets thrown out is, am I going to have to sit in queues at a higher full pop, especially on high traffic days? And the answer is generally no. Generally, 90% of the time you won't have to sit in queues. I play on a full population realm, the third most populated realm in the game, and I've never had to experience a queue. The only time you ever run the risk of experiencing a queue on a full population realm is on high traffic days, like the release, day one through a few days after of a new expansion or a major patch to an expansion. That's the only time you run risk of running the queues with this. And even then, it's not the end of the world because the benefits of being on those high populated realms far outweigh that minor inconvenience that for most of the time isn't even an inconvenience at all. The next thing you're going to want to consider here is once you've gotten to your full and high population realm and, I want to play a normal in the United States, and you've got some realms that you are looking at joining, the last thing you want to do is look at these realms, like type in, Area 52 World of Warcraft realm, and get a little more details on the realm. Because you're going to want to join a realm, preferably that is in your time zone. So look at what time zone the realms are in, and try to correlate that with your actual time zone in real life. And another thing to consider is the realm faction population balance. What that means is the percentage of players that play Alliance and Horde on the population. You're going to want to join a realm that has the majority of players playing the same faction as you do. This is because you won't be able to interact really with, in a positive way at least, with opposite faction people on your server. So you're going to want to choose a faction, that is a majority of the faction. You don't want to choose a server that has the majority of people playing the same faction as you, or you might as well be playing on a low pop realm because it's, the same thing. There's just not a lot of people for you to play with. So make sure that the realm you're playing on has a faction majority of whatever faction you're playing, Horde or Alliance, because that's very important. The last thing to consider, and probably one of the more important things, probably should have mentioned this earlier, is find out what realms, if you're playing this game and you're playing with some friends that have already been playing the game, find out what realm they're on, and find out what faction they are too, but also find out what realm they're on and what faction they're on, because this will, determine whether or not you're able to play with them. So match those two things up realm and faction, and you'll be able to play with them. Basically everything you could want to do with somebody else, you're gonna be able to do with them. So make sure you're on the same realm as your friends that plan. Okay, now that we've basically gone over how to select a realm and what to look for, I'm going to give you 2 suggestions for realms that are all full pop, by the way, so very populated, good realms for Horde players and for Alliance players. Let's start at Horde players with Area 52 as my first recommendation. Area 52 is a full pop, normal server that is in the United States, and is the most populated server in the game, so a very populated and alive server. It's got 99.72% Horde players to 0.28% Alliance players, so a massive Horde player base, in balance there, but that's a good thing for Horde players, because you want a lot of other Horde players around. It's also got 1,133 guilds, which I believe is the most guilds of any server, so you're gonna have a massive selection of Horde guilds to join. And yeah, if you're rolling Horde, this is one of, if probably the best, if not probably the best realm to actually roll on. So I highly recommend Area 52. Next is gonna be Illidan. It's another full normal pop realm in the United States for Horde Horde players, because it's Horde dominated. Very populated, second most populated in the game, I believe. It's got 99.36% players playing Horde and 0.64% players playing Alliance. Massive, a lot of Horde players there, massive majority for them. So it's a great for Horde players. It's got 1,017 guilds, which I believe is the second most in the game. It's a very good, populated, alive realm. Can't go wrong choosing Illidan as a Horde player. Now let's go on to Alliance, the faction that I play. The first one, and probably the best Alliance server in the game here, is Storm Rage. It's going to be down there with the full pop. Since I have characters on it, it automatically puts it at the top here. Storm Rage is the normal full population realm on the United States, Eastern Standard Time Zone, by the way. It's the realm that I play on. It's the most populated Alliance majority realm in the game, and third most populated overall. It's got a 98.30% Alliance players and 1.7% Horde players balance. Very good for Alliance players. It's got 807 guilds, which I believe is the most guilds on an Alliance server in the game. It's very, it's very populated, very full. Can't go wrong choosing Storm Rage as an Alliance player. My second recommendation is down here. It is Proudmoore, which is a normal full population on United States server selection. Proudmoore, again, a very, populated full realm. Its majority of players, or majority of the players, are Alliance. It's got a balance of Alliance to the Horde being 93.42% of Alliance players, with 6.58% of people playing Horde. So very good balance for Alliance players to rule. It's got 355 guilds on there, most of them again being Alliance. And it's a very good, vibrant, realm to be on if you're an Alliance player. Can't go wrong choosing Proudmoore. So that wraps up the server selection guide as well as recommendation video here. I hope you guys learned how to pick a realm and are picking a realm or have picked a realm based off this video that you are happy with and are currently playing on. And I will see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys enjoy this, and see you later.